Prof Tahir Mahmood ji, we would like to know as to how Hindu law should be taught. For this video, the viewers are aspiring teachers. So, what would be your articulation to them?
You know, Hindu law has been one of my first loves, and I have a large number of books on Hindu law I have written, and my Hindu law books also have been cited by the courts and are prescribed in the universities. And in my books, I have tried to explain how modern Hindu law should be taught in the background of the law that was enforced before the Hindu Marriage Act or the Hindu Succession Act were passed. They are based on Hindu Code Bill, which was moved for the first time in the Constituent Assembly in 1946. But then the national leaders became very busy and the code had to be delayed, and finally the code could not be passed as a compact code because there was stiff opposition from the religious circles, Hindu religious circles. And finally the code had to be split into 4 acts. We have the Hindu Marriage Act, Hindu Succession Act, Hindu Minorities and Guardianship Act, and the Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act. These are the 4 acts. What people think generally, rather wrongly think, there is a great misconception that these laws treat these 4 communities, Hindus, Buddhists, Sikhs and Jains, as one single community, as followers of some religion. Many students say, well, according to law, Sikhs and Buddhists and Jains, they are Hindu. That's not the case. Look at the 4 acts of they say that the name is Hindu Marriage Act. Yes, right. Because the other 3 communities which are governed by the modern Hindu law, compared with the Hindu, their population is minuscule. The Sikh population in the country is less than 2%, Buddhist population less than 1%, Jaini population less than 1%. So, for the sake of convenience, it is called Hindu Marriage Act, but inside the act, we find that there is a scope for all the communities to maintain their respective customs and usages. So, the first thing that one has to understand that it is not the law for one community, it is law for 4 communities, and each community has been given the right to protect, follow its practices. And apart from these 4 acts, this is not the entire Hindu law. We have a separate law for the Sikh communities. It is called the Anand Marriage Act. It was enacted in 1909 and was amended drastically in 2012. Our law teachers, many of our law students have not even heard the name of this act. It's called, we have an Arya Marriage Act passed in 1937 for the Arya Samaji Hindus. These acts also are to be studied. What the law teachers do in the law school generally just teach those 4 acts, and that also briefly, and think that they have taught Hindu law. And then Hindu law, modern Hindu law is a developing subject. Every now and then there are Supreme Court judgments, there are judgments of the various high courts. So, the focus has to be on how the law is being developed, not how the law is written in the act. And one major thing I would like all my law teachers, family law teachers and students to know is that still you find in the acts it is written this act applies to the whole of India. Until recently it was written this act applies to the whole of India except the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Now that clause has been taken away now, because after the state Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act, the central laws have been made applicable throughout Jammu and Kashmir. So that clause has been eliminated. But still it says this act applies to the whole of India. It does not. None of those 4 acts apply in Goa, in Daman and Diu, to the Renoncants in Pondicherry, not in Nagaland, in Mizoram. So, this is a rather misleading statement at the outset of the act, that it apply to the whole of India, and that has to be kept in mind. It has to be explained to the students.
Thank you very much. That's a very good articulation as they approach to teach Hindu law.